Happy Wednesday. I'm glad to join you for another video on growing spiritually. It's a vital part of the mission here at Mount Tabor. We are on our second week of our worship series called Verses. It's about the story of David and Goliath. If you haven't had a chance to worship with us yet this week, I hope that you will stop by our website, our Facebook page, or our YouTube page. Look for those links for worship and worship with us this week. Our pastors talked about more of the story of David and Goliath and talked about tuning out the noise, that we will have naysayers around us or even within us, and we've got to tune out the noise and listen to the voice of God. We heard a little bit about David's older brother accusing him of having wickedness in his heart or being conceited or basically having bad motives for what he was doing. But David needed to focus on who God said David was. God had said that David was a man after God's own heart. And God had a plan for David. And David needed to tune out the noise and focus on who God was calling him to be and what his next steps needed to be. And so we were encouraged to do that ourselves, to tune out the noise, even though there will always be those naysayers. I also hope that we will become a body of believers who will encourage one another when we're having difficult times. When one of us is being bombarded with the naysayers, I hope that this is a place where believers will come alongside one another and encourage one another and speak truth over one another and remind one another of what God says in His Word and what God says about who we are. We are His children. We are His inheritance. We are saved by grace and we are called for His purpose. And so may we be people who encourage one another and speak those words to one another, and may we be the ones who drown out the noise of the naysayers so that we hear one another's voices louder than those voices of dissent. And so let's encourage one another through this week. Let's find ways to be free with our encouragement and our compliments. Let's seek to grow spiritually by encouraging one another as we seek to drown out that noise. So I pray that as you go through this week, that you speak encouragement over others, that you would know the truth of who God says you are, and that He would surprise you with His kindness, that He would overwhelm you with His goodness, and that you would continue to grow in your knowledge of Him.